Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. My name's Kent. I am a huge Oculus Rift fan. I love you, Oculus. Thank you so much for making good consumer virtual reality a reality. But the consumer version isn't out yet, so it's still in development. So I would like to put my 2 cents in as a virtual reality enthusiast. I'm sort of a developer. I've made a level or a map for Hydra Cover Shooter, link in the description. Here's what I would like to have in the consumer version of the Oculus Rift. At least a 15-foot cord going from the Rift to the computer to give me space to step around the room. I would like to have 2 cameras, one in the front of the room and one in the back of the room to pick up my positional tracking. Right now, the development kit 2 only has the 1 camera, but they've made a prototype called Crescent Bay, which has LEDs on the back of it, on the back of the headset, so you can turn around and the camera in the front can still track the position of your head by tracking the LEDs on the back of the headset. So why do I want a second camera in the rear? Because I would also like a gun that has LEDs on it as well, so the camera can track that position as well on the gun, the same way it tracks your head. It seems like it's a cheap way to do good accurate positional tracking is with LEDs and infrared cameras that pick up these infrared LED lights. So we get a gun peripheral, we put some LEDs on it as well, and then the camera can track it in the front, and then the camera can also track it when you turn and your body's blocking the gun. Your body's blocking the gun from the camera in the front, but now there's a camera in the back that can also pick up the position, and then your gun ends up in the right spot in the virtual world when you're looking and the gun is lined up for where your hand is really holding in the real world, and then you can aim accurately and it feels right. So 2 cameras, a gun with infrared LEDs with triggers, and a joystick on it. When you want to walk forward a long way, then you can push forward on the joystick and you can walk a long ways. I think it's best to have just, like a square mat like they did in their demos at the Oculus Connect when they were displaying their Crescent Bay prototype. You just have like a rug that is as big as the range of your cameras, so that helps you stay in a safe spot so you don't crash into stuff. I really want to play stand-up virtual reality. I want to play a first-person shooter. I don't really want to play flying and driving games or sitting games. I don't really care if my fingers aren't there. I don't really need both hands. I just want one gun in the accurate position. This is what I want in a virtual reality system, and I wish I was smart enough to make it myself, but I'm not, so I'm putting it out there. I want to be able to, step in and shoot and step out and step in and shoot or duck and do this, and you can't do this with the omnidirectional and the other treadmill, those to me just kind of make walking in place a little easier, but I don't want to walk in place. There's one more sensor that I think that they should release with the commercial version, and that's a sensor for your belt, a belt clip sensor. And this should be just a really cost-effective, cheap sensor, just a compass sensor. It doesn't have to be 6 degrees of freedom or 3 degrees of freedom, just really a compass sensor, so it tracks which way your waist is facing, which way your pelvis is facing. The reason I want this is because when I push forward on the joystick gun, I always want to go in the direction that my hips are facing. I don't want to go in the direction that my face is facing. Just like in real life, when we walk around, we always pretty much go in the directions that our waist or our torso is facing. This should make the games really intuitive to move around in, and allow us to look in one direction or look left and right, but keep pushing forward on that joystick, and we're going to keep going forward, and I'm able to look around or even backwards and keep running forwards easily by just pushing forward on the joystick. It feels very natural. I've played some demos like this before using the Razor Hydra. The Razor Hydra is not it's not the best peripheral for this type of thing. You know, there's the Sixense Stem that's out there, and that's really cool, and it really can, if I get that and the DK2, then I can basically have the system I want. However, the stem is really expensive, and I know the price is going to go down, but right now it's really expensive just to get basically a sensor for your head, so you wouldn't need any cameras, a sensor for your hand, and a sensor for your belt. It's like $350 just for that. And I'm all for it. I like it a lot. It seems like it would do a good job, and it wouldn't need as much space as, you know, these cameras would have to be far away from you, pretty far away from you, to pick you up so you can have a good range of motion for sidestepping in and out of cover. So the stem wouldn't quite need that range, but when you get further away from the base, then it gets less accurate as well, because there's a magnetic field that does the tracking, and the magnetic field gets weaker the further away you get from it, so it could get a little inaccurate possibly on the edges. I haven't tried it, but possibly on the edges of your field. It could get a little inaccurate, and the gun might not be in the right position in the virtual space when you're looking down the sights and trying to aim. I really like this stem. I've read good things about it. I've watched all the videos on it. It's pretty exciting, but I'm afraid that it's not going to be incorporated into very many games because it's so expensive. I don't think that many people are going to have it. I don't think that many people are going to develop for it. But this is just the first wave of the stem that's coming out. The prices are going to go down on it. The more popular it is, the more the price will go down, because the more bulk manufacturing they can do. The stem is you can pre-order it now. You can get it in a couple months. The DK2 you can probably get in a month if you order it now. I'd like to get both for Christmas. The quote is that Oculus would be disappointed if they did not release the commercial Rift in 2015. That's the quote. I think that if Oculus did the two cameras and the waist tracker and the gun LED tracker, should be a lot cheaper than the stem is. I forgot to mention, I made a video yesterday ranting about how Oculus keeps saying how the Rift is for a seated experience. So if they keep saying this, it's doubtful that they'll do any of these things that I'm mentioning in this video. So leave a like if you agree with me and you think this is a good idea. And hopefully somebody smarter than me can make it a reality. Alright bros, take it easy, bye.